Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. Big hits among the anime community, and certainly an anime with action, adventure and plot twists along the way. Though along the path of the Naruto timeline and anime in general, people have adapted to the idea of original characters and plotlines to further expand the franchise, though not through the means of profit and or gratification from Masashi Kishimoto's fine work of art. GTFanDubZone are no different. They have taken the plotline ending from Naruto Shippuden and alternated it with their own variations of the story, with new characters replacing current ones, and at this point untold plotlines along the way. Today is a tribute to the followers and subscribers of the GTFanDubZone channel. We will finally go into depth as to what happens after the events of Naruto Shippuden and the alternative plotline of Naruto Shippuden XT Storm. One of the big telling points of Naruto Shippuden XT Storm compared to the ending of Naruto Shippuden in the Boruto movie is the question of, where is Boruto, Sarada and all the other relating characters from the movie/anime ending? Think of it as a means of the creation of the series in contrast to the ending of Shippuden. When GTFanDubZone originally created Naruto Shippuden XT Storm, of which at the time was a forum roleplay site used by the Envision Free server, Naruto Shippuden was nowhere near its completion, though much of its story has been adapted to fit some in, and others were not included. So look at it in this statement. When Naruto Shippuden XT Storm was founded by series creator DeltaNiwa X, Boruto, Sarada, and all the next generation characters didn't exist. Neither did some of the contrasts appearing such as Sakura and Sasuke, to which, let's face it, shocked a lot of people to think that Sakura and Sasuke actually did it to have Sarada. But in XT Storm, it's a little different, so let's finally get into who gets with who. In Naruto Shippuden XT Storm, nothing really changes around the pairings of Naruto and Hinata. They remain as a couple, but only have one child. That and Arashi Uzumaki, who unlike Boruto, who likes to cause mischief due to his father never being around to see him grow, is a genius that everyone likes, other than a certain Rinjita Senju who as a child loathed him for his natural ability to learn things off the trot. Arashi Uzumaki is certainly a prodigy child to which goes against Naruto, of whom was an idiot right from the very beginning. Arashi would wind up marrying Rinjita Senju, of whom most thought hated him, but secretly loved him and used her facade as a means of not having to admit the cold hard truth she held. Both would then bring Narashi Uzumaki into the world, but at a cost of Rinjita losing her life to Brugada Syndrome moments after Narashi was born, and Arashi losing his life to Itami Shoyu in the one-man war, known as Episode 0, The Pilot. Sasuke Uchiha is one of the telling tales. Much to the probably favourite asked question, why is there so many Uchihas remaining? Well, the answer is simple. After Sasuke's failed attempt of a revolution, he returned to the aid of Orochimaru with a secret project in mind, of which was approved by 6th Hokage Kakashi Hatake, though in the secrecy of the village council. The goal was to artificially create duplicates of Sasuke that bore the full Uchiha genetics to allow reproduction, unlike the clones of modern day society. Orochimaru's scientific genius, along with the trusty work of his assistant Kabuto, allowed the process to even adorn female versions of Sasuke to allow in some what would call taboo-based fertility. The process went perfectly, and soon the Uchiha clan began to rise up again under Sasuke's leadership. But one thing was left a mystery. The creation of Takashi Uchiha, the somewhat perfect clone of Madara Uchiha. Takashi Uchiha was created by Orochimaru, who had been able to sample bits of tissue, blood and other genetic pieces from certain Uchihas such as Shisui Uchiha, Madara Uchiha and Obito Uchiha. This allowed Orochimaru to conduct his own little experiment known as Operation Uchiha of Legend. The result was flawless, and unlike Sasuke's method of clan restoration, Orochimaru embedded the fertile egg into one of his subjects and allowed the regular pregnancy period to take place. This was at the time to camouflage his intentions of creating the Uchiha legend once again, but of a better nature than his true counterpart. However, word got loose of this experiment and Orochimaru suddenly disappeared, never to be seen again. Through all this, however, Sasuke winds up using the taboo method of reproducing with one of his female counterparts to allow Sharingan Uchiha into the world, and marrying fellow Uchiha Shiro paved way for 3 Uchiha siblings: Satoshi Uchiha, the eldest male, Akita Uchiha, the only female, and Ureika Uchiha, the youngest but probably most adored of the 3 by their mother. Back to the subject at hand, Sakura Haruno at present, we did not really have much in thought of her situation, so ended up pairing her up with Sai, thus allowing both to have a child of pink hair and pale complexion, Koji Haruno, of whom married an unknown female and produced Shinran Haruno. Koji Haruno would later be killed in a mission when attacked by a mysterious shinobi that turned out to be someone of much importance to the series later on. Devika Shukame is one of the few characters in Naruto Shippuden XT Storm who doesn't have a main character upbringing. She is much like Narration and Arika in the fact that she was raised without the care of her mother and father. Her father was dubbed a criminal for certain actions, and her mother was killed by these actions by the male's hands himself. I would say more, but spoilers are a bad thing. Due to Naruto Shippuden XT Storm having not much of a big fanbase in the role-playing society, a lot of canon character pairings were just set in stone as they were. But their offspring did not make cameos, nor did they produce a second generation, other than Rock Lee, who found love in Tenten and produced a son that would later bring Rock Lee into the world, and Kakashi Hatake finding love with an unknown female that would bring Karashi Hatake to the world. That would spring into blossom with Shikuzu Uchiha, and thus Marakai Hatake was born, giving hints as to where his Sharingan legacy was created. Another telling point is the creation of Totsuade Ushiraya, of whom people probably believe was a cause of Tsunade and Jiraiya making out before a certain death. This, however, is false. Tsunade would have likely lost the child when split in half by a tree during her fight with Madara Uchiha. What actually happened is that Tsunade turned to Orochimaru and bestowed him a favour to find any sample of Jiraiya's DNA and use it to allow fertilization with her and create a clone child of his features, a memento to the man she treasured as a friend and fellow teammate. Possible lover, we don't know. Tsunade then finally found a man to settle down with, and from that Himade was born, bearing her mother's looks but her father's eyes. Of course, father unknown. With character pairings out of the way, we now move on to the storyline of Naruto Shippuden XT Storm and where it stands now. After the events of Naruto Shippuden and Sasuke's failed attempt at a revolution, Kakashi Hatake was appointed the 6th Hokage, and with it kept a peaceful and fulfilling role until Naruto was ready to take the mantle. The pairings had since begun their families, and already turmoil began to take place. A group of shinobi that were said to be followers of Kaguya Otsutsuki suddenly appeared and declared war against the 5 great nations, and it was up to the Hidden Leaf to take the mantle. This, however, was the mission where Kakashi Hatake and Shikamaru both lost their lives in a desperate act to allow Naruto more time to prepare himself to take on this gruesome group. The battle was eventually won thanks to the aid of Sasuke Uchiha, of whom had returned from his journey of redemption in time to lend Naruto a hand and end the group where they stood. A few years passed, and in that time the 2nd generation had begun their trials as shinobi within the Ninja Academy. Arashi Uzumaki, son of Naruto and Hinata, already showing promise, as did Sharizanku Uchiha and Karashi Hatake. One shinobi, however, didn't seem to be as fortunate as most, that being a Renjito Senju, who loathed the fact that Arashi was always the top of their class and didn't even look like he was giving it a good hard go, where she was struggling but giving it all she had. This caused tension between them, especially when both were put into the same team with Sharizanku Uchiha as the 3rd member and Ushiraya as the teacher. The conflict between them sparked mostly when Ren butting into Arashi's conversations or speeches and always deeming herself better than him and becoming the 2nd female Hokage. Arashi, unlike his father, didn't want to be Hokage unless he felt truly worthy to take the mantle, something his father probably considered right from the very beginning. It wasn't until they had graduated to Chunin that Ren finally confessed her hidden feelings for Arashi, and their love would later blossom into marriage just before the One Nation War began. The village hidden in the darkness had approached the 5 great nations in a meeting at the Land of Iron. Their intentions? To create their own nation to be the 6th great nation, the Media Nation, or to unite with one of the other nations become a power force that would stack in that nation's favour. 4 of the 5 Kage seemed to set fit for this, but one did not, the 8th Hokage, Konohamaru Sarutobi, of whom was elected as the 8th Hokage to replace Naruto, of whom had decided to go on a much needed vacation away with his wife, of whom came ill of some sort, and would later die from such illness. Konohamaru saw ill intentions from the man who presented the media country's case, and elected to have Anbu from all 5 main villages to investigate the village to find what would benefit them as a nation or a united cause. When they investigated the village, to their shock and disgust, they found a village near to the bone empty, and what was there instead were experimental super shinobis created to be a chakra beyond most normal shinobi capabilities, all created by a substance known as the Enigma liquid. When reported back to the Hidden Leaf, Konohamaru instantly refused the offer and declared that the village hidden in darkness would be destroyed and all experiments in the same. This resulted in the leader of the media country to declare war against the Hidden Leaf, the One Nation War in itself. Of course, the other nations lent their hand in the war, but the battle was mostly between the Hidden Leaf and the Hidden Darkness. During this war, Karashi and Shikuzu Hatake were led into the main forces of the village, but were ambushed along the way. The two would be killed in the front, Arashi missing their death by only a moment beforehand, as a man in a mask appeared before them and stopped the Uzumaki from making any sudden advances into the war zone. The masked man would be none other than Takashi Uchiha, of whom learned of his clan's horrid past and faked his death a few days prior to this moment, and used the guise to cause anguish within the Hidden Leaf. The resulting death of his parents led Mariko Hatake, their son, to become bitter and full of hate towards the village, and towards his own teacher, Arashi, of whom he believed could have saved them, but didn't for reasons that made him look better than others. After the One Nation War was finished and the leader in question was put down, Arashi was made the 9th Hokage, and with it made Mariko's hatred for the male grow even fiercer. Mariko, of whom was a gifted shinobi, was becoming a person that no one wanted to be around. His bitterness and anger towards the village drove people away from him, and the only ones who did stay at his side met his cruel hand of abuse. Time passed, and eventually Arashi was given the best news of his life when he found out that his wife Ren was pregnant and a child was on its way. Arashi was overwhelmed and couldn't wait to tell the entire village, but sadly on the day of Narashi's birth, Ren fell victim to the Brigada syndrome, of which attacks the heart on a frequent basis, and with the child's birth, Ren's heart simply stopped beating afterwards. Distraught and unable to keep himself from losing his emotions over this, Arashi took his son to Mount Miyobokuzan to learn in the ways of sage growth and spend some quality time with his son. This is where we cross into the first part of the Naruto XT Storm series, the One Man War, but little is known as to how or why Itami Shoyo, a boy at the tender age of 10 years old, was capable of taking down a Hokage like Arashi and bring destruction and devastation to the Hidden Leaf. Itami Shoyo is a member of the Obliviex clan, a clan that herald from the Land of Lightning. Their Kika Genkai is a full lightning mastery. This grants them impressive speed boosts and the ability to lure shockwaves and other lightning-based moves from weapons or even their own appendages. But the Kika Genkai has two sides to its coin: purity and demonic. Those who walk down a path of righteousness would inherit the light and be blessed with purity oblivion, but those who walk down the path of destruction and devastation would be cursed with demonic oblivion. Much sets both off, but for Itami, a long time of bullying and abuse from kids around him caused the boy to snap, and the untapped powers within him, including demonic oblivion, were released, changing Itami from a mild-mannered boy to a maniacal killing machine. After the one-man war ended, Mariko Hatake took Narashi Uzumaki in at his own and raised him for as long as he needed to. Then let Narashi live for himself to try and make friends of his own. However, thanks to Kurama's eruption when Naruto planned to seal the fox into Narashi, the villagers grew scared and feared Narashi and made it so that Narashi would be alone and live a life of pain and misery. Thanks for watching this special What Came to Be of Naruto Shippuden XT Storm. Please like, subscribe and share the video around with everyone you know. Get them to like and subscribe, and keep watching Naruto Shippuden XT Storm as they come out. Episode 0.5 shouldn't be too far away from completion, and we should have that up very shortly, and episode 10 will be currently in the works. So thanks a lot everyone for your great support, and keep it up. This is DeltaNiwa X signing out.